Okay, I have two different little topics of discussion. The first one is practical steps to keeping yourself mentally aligned or vibrationally aligned, what we would say. Let's say that you have a great idea and you keep yourself in that good mood for a long time and you work on it and you keep coming up with more stuff. But you have a great idea and you go to tell somebody about it and they sort of shoot it down or they don't show the interest you want and somehow it takes away from your creativity. Well, with that example, a really quick one, that was it. Well, say, like, I've been doing certain breathing routines and breathing methods and thinking certain things and doing certain practices with the water I drink and the food I drink and my body, and I feel great about it. And then I go to tell somebody about the practices that I've been doing, and they laugh at it and think it's silly or whatever, and I stop doing it. And then my body starts feeling crappy again. And then I go back to those practices that made me feel good, and I remember them, and I start doing them all together again, and the more I remember them, the more I start doing them all together again, and they start feeling great. Well, one is drinking more flower tea and eating more wild herbs and grasses. Two is talking to my water and knowing that it is becoming me and keeping it in a copper thing, in a copper conductive jug or container with good music, a flower, good energy, just a nice spot when I store it, and then take it in a stainless steel thing so that it keeps out any of the negative energy around any of the places that I would go. That water, when I take a sip of it, if I say, I love you and thank you for becoming part of me, and then when I drink it and I swallow it, I feel it go down into my body and become part of me. Like, it may sound silly to somebody, but once you've actually felt that on a molecular level, you know it's not silly at all, one little bit. So that's number two. And number three is to not tell somebody about something that you truly believe in if that's somebody you don't know who, like, say you tell somebody you don't know. You start off by accidentally doing that, and they seem very doubtful of you. Don't go deeper into it, or you will develop their doubt. Because between the two of you, you're going to come out with a certain thing, and your mind has to be strong enough to know that no matter what they say, your knowing is your knowing, and it's that. Why does compost become compost? Because you throw a bunch of stuff in a pile and it just comes dirt again. Why does poop become dirt? Why does dirt become mixed with the seed and water and become a plant? Just because we know. We don't really have to explain it, but we try to. And because we know, it just happens. Because we know. If you knew without a doubt that you'd be 100 years old and healthy, you'd do it. But because everyone around you give you a different example, you don't know it. All you have to do is know it without letting anyone tell you other than what you know. You have to be able to do that. And if you can do that, that's where we develop our minds and become ultra superpowered. That's our superpower. By knowing, by having that much faith in yourself and believing so much in yourself. I mean, those words have been used in so many motivational speeches that they don't mean much. But that's what they mean. So, that was one. Number two, how President Trump is God. Okay, let's think right now. This sounds really funny to say, but bear with me, because everybody is God. But let's just say, what President Trump is right now, sip of a tea, oh yeah, some good tea, with some turmeric in it too. I mean, actually, no, this is coffee. I just made tea. I steeped my tea, and it's steeping right now for tomorrow morning. But I had some coffee, but I used my organic cane sugar with turmeric, and it's really good, actually. So anyway, how President Trump is God. How everybody is God, okay? Who is your mom? Even if you don't like your mom or your dad, they're also God. You just don't understand what I'm trying to say. Here's the thing. President Trump is President Trump. To play the role he plays right now in society, no other person could be his personality, right? Well, I'm sure there's people that agree with him, people that don't agree with him. What does that mean? That means some people vibrationally match some of the things he thinks, and some people don't, okay? Well, he vibrationally matches all the things his ego is built up to be, so therefore he plays a very egotistical person. Which I love him for it. I think he's awesome. But I think everybody's awesome. I don't think everything that everyone has ever done in their past is awesome, because they learn. There's sometimes in life you do something so many times over and 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 over, and then one day you're like, hey, what was wrong with me? What was I thinking? And then that sets up a new neuron in your brain, and it doesn't happen again. Like, I want to use something really heavy, like slavery, because I, little old me, Dan Alexander, can help in every subject, and I know it. Whether other people believe it or not, I know it. So it doesn't matter if they believe it or not, because I'm here to help them. So slavery and racism and all that kind of stuff, the people, Abraham Lincoln, he helped slaves, but, he was a white person. There was, up to that point, that all the white people thought it was normal to just have slaves, to just have them, because they were brought up that way. They didn't think that way when they were born. It just happened that they were born into that situation. So to hold it against them now makes no sense, because they didn't know any better. If they didn't know any better, they wouldn't have done it. Because if they knew any better, they would have put themselves in the other living being's shoes and not done that. But now, we can do that. So whether you're a gangster mofo slanging your heat, or you're a peaceful Bible-thumping whatever, it's and I don't mean to put either one down, okay? Put yourself in each other's shoes and try to realize that they, unknowingly to you, went up through different sets of belief systems, different patterns of life, different people, different circumstances, different everything. And that's what made them them. Whether you agree with it or not, as long as they're not attacking you, whether it's physically, verbally, mentally, whatever. You don't know about mentally because that's inside them, but physically or verbally, you'll be able to tell if they're thinking something bad about you. You will. You do already. It just depends on how tuned in you and your six senses. So let's go back to President Trump, how he's God. Who else could be that person right now? Who could be the President of the United States? But somebody that we know the face of. And who do we know the face of? Somebody that we know as that. So now, President Trump could change and think totally different than the Trump that we think he is. But because people think they know President Trump from the 80s and 90s and 2000s, that's who he is, and he's a swindling tycoon and all this diddly-doo, whatever. Well, he inside himself knows that he's different. But he also uses his ego to his advantage, and he has his personality, and a lot of him thinks that he's President Trump, and he doesn't believe that he's God. He may know that there's something different, because deep down everyone knows there's something different, no matter how big or small they are to the public eye, or whether they're invisible to everyone. They are God. It is God. And if you're just a person who doesn't believe in God, whether you're an atheist or not, guess what? You've drank water or eaten some kind of thing that's grown from the ground throughout your life. So therefore, every bit of you is God too, whether you like it or not. That's what God is. Not a religious book, not a story, not even the word spirit. God is above and beyond all those things, because God is in spirit too. But God is transcending above spirit also. And if anyone else wants to know about it, I can help you. So let's just say, President Trump couldn't be anything other than we see that face as now. So Trump is Trump, but at the same time, he may think completely different thoughts tomorrow. But because you only know that face the way you know it, you think he's President Trump. But really, he's just God reflecting the universe the way that he can through his body, compared to all the situations he's had up till this moment of now. That's all it is. And you're the same thing too. You're God too. My mom thinks she's Kathy Alexander. She's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met on a personal level. But she's a beautiful soul, and she's God as well. My brother, he's God. His girlfriend, she's God. The dog and cat running down the street chasing each other, they're both God. They're playing out the story, this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful miracle of a story. So, that's all I have to say for now. Peace.